Okay, part two. Had to move the camera so you can see me a little better. And so I was saying that a lot of people didn't do well on on this third quiz. Now remember, I had said the first day or two that I went to Vancouver, Canada, actually Whistler, outside of Vancouver, and I went zip lining. And there were these 5 zip lines, 1.5 kilometers from mountaintop peak to mountain peak, and they gave us some training. This was the training. Chapter 1 and 2 was the training. They said, make sure you keep your arms straight and spread your legs, because when you come in real fast, you can whip your butt when you come into the longer zip lines. So chapter 1 and 2 were pretty fairly straightforward. Chapter 3 required a little more effort, and some of you got your bottom whooped. So the lesson to learn is to take the recommendations I make. Review chapter 2 and 3. Those are probably the foundational chapters. Make sure you review them before you take the quiz each week. Review those 2 regularly, if nothing else, and review the previous chapters so that you can build continuity, learning new and different behavior to actually evidence how you're progressing through the semester. So we were applying, doing anthropology, or doing ethnography in chapter 3, and we're moving to chapter 4 on language and communication. So I made the recommendation, please accept, decline, or counter offer my recommendation that you review, read or at least review the previous chapters, specifically 2 and 3, as I mentioned in the video here. Then you won't have so much difficulty, and the rest of the zip lines will be easier. I promise you, they'll be just as exciting or difficult, but you will come in a safe landing. I'm really appreciating the sea of green on the attendance tracker and the compliance tracker. Section 230 is doing very well. They have 97% compliance rate. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And 4 o'clock, you have a 90% compliance rate. Don't teeter over into 80, okay? And you'll have noticed already, some of you, if you've already taken chapter 4 quiz, that it was 40 minutes instead of 60 minutes. There was a long little introduction to get you set up for that. Each week you're going to build some new muscle, so, just work it out. Just keep going to the gym. Keep doing your work. I promise you, you will appreciate the results. Chapter 4, language, came into being already in looking at how we interpreted, as readers, the body rituals of the Nasirima by Horace Minor, written in 1956. Just because of the change of a few words written backwards, you were totally, and in other words, shifting from mouth right instead of brushing teeth, and what was it? Lapizzo for hospital, which is that backwards. This was a satire. The body ritual of the Nasirima was a satire of what anthropologists had already begun to do and still often do, just because we're human. We tend to see others' culture with a kind of distance gaze and look at them as they're foreign and alien and strange. And what he did was make our own home culture foreign to us so that we could learn why the distinctive strategy of studying an emic local point of view is so important. More importantly, how we represent it so that they have dignity, they're honored, and they're respected in their treatment, and the way that people who will never meet them can appreciate their culture and respect the complexity, naturalness, and meaningfulness of that culture. So Horace Minor gave us an opportunity to see how we can distance ourselves with literature from the actual people, even our own selves. And ethnocentrism shows up because naturally we're inclined to look at something that's not us as different. So on Blackboard you'll find a handout of a barrel model of culture. It's actually going to be, it looks like this, and there's also going to be a handout that's similar to the barrel model that I drew on the board, only it's based on the planet Earth. And you'll be able to learn about the model that will help you organize doing your mini ethnography at the end of the semester. So make sure you print this out. And Make sure you print out the diagram so that you have that in class so that we can talk about it. And I'll leave you with this thought. The best work you could do in this class is to just do one thing. Start noticing. Don't start to make big claims. Remember, I asked you to notice the air conditioner. It was already there. Start to notice, and I'll give you one more. That's to ask questions, to actually accept that you're ignorant of the things you can't see in a culture that's not your own, or that's represented with language that's not familiar to you, that seems alien or foreign to you. Be a great observer with no bias, like no judgment. You know, I know it's strange, but put that aside. And just notice what's different and write down what's different and what do you notice. And then if you have access to someone who is a native to the culture, a local insider, then ask them, what does that mean? And then document as much as possible. So you're doing that with your drinking ritual. I expect you to complete your final draft of your drinking ritual on Wednesday. By Wednesday, I want it turned in, okay? Typed. Make sure you're really conscious of what words you use, like denigrate, in representing your own ritual so that others get what it really means. You can even talk about the things that people take for granted or assume, so that you can unpack the bias that might be there around whatever your subject matter is in your drinking ritual. And once again, notice, notice, notice. The honor of your presence is requested. I thank you so much for your participation this week, and I'll see you in class on Monday.